Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and today we've got an interview with Greater Good Mining. So if you don't know, his channel links will be in the description. You should go check him out. I've shouted him out on a couple of videos recently, and he's got good content around ASICs, FPGAs, and GPU mining. So I'd like to give a welcome to Greater Good on this first interview of his. Just introduce yourself and say what your channel's about.
Hey, thanks for having me, Sterling Spectre. I've been watching your channel for a while. I really appreciate you having me on. Yeah, my channel, I'm just a small channel. I've been trying to grow it since just May. My wife actually is the one that encouraged me to start it. She knows I've been into this crypto stuff for a while, and she encouraged me to start it. So I started really small, just like I put my origin story on there, and my first videos are pretty sloppy, but I've been trying to work on improving them. And I started with some rig builds just to get my feet wet, and now I'm kind of trying to improve the dynamic quality and just like improve the content. So it's a work in progress, I guess you could see.
Yeah, it's a long journey, coming into YouTube and just kind of getting the ropes in.
Yeah, definitely.
So how did you start your mining journey, first off?
So my journey is probably similar to many others. I've been hearing about Bitcoin for years, and if I remember correctly, in 2016, my brother-in-law was telling me more about Bitcoin, and it sounded really intriguing to me. I truly didn't understand it at that time. I didn't really know what it was all about. He just kind of told me some about it. I researched it a little bit. I ended up getting like a Coinbase account. I bought about $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, and it was exciting because it was going up, and I just was watching it going up. I'm like, wow, this is great. It was my $1,000 investment turned into $1,400 in a very short amount of time. I kept watching it, and it started going down. I didn't understand market cycles. It was $800, then $600. So I thought, bummer, but I hodled it before I even knew what that term meant, really.
Right.
It went back up to $1,000 eventually, and then I ended up selling it at 1,000. So that was my first impromptu lesson on resistance levels, I guess you could say. So I didn't think about Bitcoin for a while. I just kind of sold it and then forgot about it until this last bull run. And I was getting out of my car, just going into the store, and I was sitting next to a gentleman in an old truck. It was beat up. He looked like he'd been working his whole life. Hard worker, construction guy, ladders in the back, paint cans, all this stuff, working really hard his whole life. I was getting ready to go in the store, and a guy pulls up in a Maserati, like a young man. And then the old man was very kind and polite and just asked the young man, how can you afford a Maserati at your age? And
yeah,
the kid just said crypto, and that was it. And he walked away, and I was like, it just sparked my interest again. He just said one word, crypto. And I went down the rabbit hole after that. My wife was driving us home that day, and I started looking at the price of Bitcoin. It blew my mind. It was like 64,000 or 60,000, I think, at that time. When I got into Bitcoin, my first buy-in, it was 11 grand. So my $1,000 would have
been 11.
6x. Yeah. So I mean, I just went down this deep rabbit hole with crypto, and I wanted to try to learn how to mine it. I wanted to know everything I could find out about it. So that's how my journey started. I just kind of became really focused on it, and I knew you could buy it. I knew you could mine it. I was like, I want to learn how to mine it. So that's kind of how it all started for me.
Right.
It sparked my interest that day, and it never stopped.
Right. So when did you start mining, and what was your first coin that you mined?
So I started mining.
What year?
It was late 2021. Towards the end of that bull run, I started getting into building my own rigs. I did a rig that I made it out of. I actually bought my first mining rig used. Okay. I had two 6600s and 5600 XTs that I bought just to get the rig in my hand so I could learn more about it. So I was mining Ethereum, and I was using NiceHash because I didn't really know how to use HiveOS very well. I was just using. I was doing Windows mining. I used Windows to mine Ethereum on NiceHash with that first rig, and I just didn't like how unstable it was. I couldn't get my overclocks to sit right. I was using like MSI Afterburner, and Windows kept trying to update. I'm sure you probably know the frustration if you've done that too. So I was like, I got to do my own thing. I got to figure this out so it's stable. So I started getting into HiveOS, and I built my own rig out of an old computer that I had laying around. So my first rig I bought used to learn. And then I got to the point where I felt comfortable enough building my own rig. And I had this old HP desktop sitting around that had 4 slots, and I expanded it to 6 with like an extension. And I started mining Ethereum on that Hive OS, and I just like Hive OS better than Windows mining. It's just more stable. So that was my first rig that I built myself, was out of an old HP desktop computer, stripped it down, took out the hard drive, put in a new hard drive, got a power supply unit for it, all that.
All right.
And that was my most stable rig. The one I built myself out of old junky parts sitting around. That thing never failed me. Good
So
load out,
never. Did that have the previous GPUs from it? The 6000s.
Oh yeah, I stripped out. I actually bought more. I bought 6800s. I left
right.
the first rig on with my 6600s and 5600 XTs on Ethereum on that first rig that I bought, and then I built a second rig with my old computer, and I bought some 6800s and started kind of expanding the rig slowly but surely. Everything was so expensive back late 2021 to I just couldn't ham into it. I couldn't ape into it at that time. I didn't feel comfortable spending so much money on something that I wanted to learn more about. I didn't feel like very comfortable buying those GPUs at that prices. I tried to look back and see how much they were, and then I compared the prices. I'm like, this is crazy buying these for this expensive. So slow start at the end of the last bull run. Right. That's kind of how I first started my first rig. So it was Ethereum. That was my first coin that I mined.
On mainly AMD cards then?
Mainly AMD cards, yeah. I started getting frustrated with my 5600 XTs because it was hard to find good overclocks, and it was hard for me to get them stable. Once I got them stable, they were great, but AMD cards are a little trickier to get the overclocks right for, I would say.
Yeah.
I have a mix of AMDs and NVIDIA, just because I like that I have the option. Some coins do better on AMD cards and vice versa. Some do better on NVIDIA. So it's nice to have a little mix.
Yeah, so after the Ethereum merge, what did you start mining after that?
So I went straight into Ergo. Actually, I was mining Ergo before the merge.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of, I was trying to prep. I didn't want my rigs to just shut off that fateful day
yeah.
when they went proof of stake. So I was trying to prep ahead of time, and I liked Ergo's project. I like that it's a fair launch, and layer 1 and smart contracts, all that stuff. I like Ergo, and I like that it was more efficient too. So I like the Autoleco's algorithm. So I switched a lot of stuff over to Ergo, and kind of like just watch the merge happen, while I was mining Ergo.
I think that got the highest hash rate, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it had that difficulty bomb. The difficulty skyrocketed, and they didn't have it built into the algorithm, or the team didn't have it set up where the difficulty adjusted fast enough for all the people that wanted to switch to Ergo. So I did mine it at a loss for a while to support the project. I really like Ergo. I just I didn't want to watch it fail. Yeah. So I did mine at a loss for a long time on Ergo until that difficulty adjustment was changed around. So I still like the project. I still mined it after that. I was dual mining Ergo and Kaspa for a while after that.
Yeah. So what electricity rates are you working with to mine Ergo at that time?
So at that time, I have an interesting setup. I pay for power in one location, then I have limited free power in another location.
Right.
So it's very limited power in my other location. It's like I try to keep it at like 1800 watts. So I guess my average power rate between the two would probably be about like 8 cents or so.
Right. Okay.
So it's really not bad. It's compared to a lot of the other areas of the country. It's a nice average that I can deal with and I can work with and not take too much of a hit. So that's why I definitely wanted to help Ergo with the getting through that bomb, because I could afford it and I like the project,
Yeah, as soon as the merge came in, I had to turn off all my rigs.
Yeah. Did you have anything set up beforehand, or did you just like shut it off and just kind of watch and see what happened?
I just shut it off because it was like in the UK, it's like 40 cents per kilowatt hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so basically nothing's profitable. Even Ethereum was hard to make profit on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a high rate.
So after Ergo, what project did you go to after that?
So I've kind of mixed some projects in there. I did mine Ravencoin for a little while. Like I said, I was dual mining Ergo and Kaspa.
Right.
I really like Kaspa, obviously.
Yeah.
If you see my channel at all, I feel like
of course.
yeah, Kaspa's a good one. So I feel like I kind of want to just stick with one project right now to talk about mostly because I'm a newer channel and I kind of feel like maybe if I just focus on that, I'll know it well enough where I can help people too. So I really like Ergo and Kaspa, but I switched to Kaspa on GPUs. Evolving so fast, it's kind of hard to mine now with GPUs, obviously. So I kind of progressed from GPUs, and then in January I started mining Kaspa on FPGAs, and then the story's starting to play out with the IceRiver ASICs now. So
So what's the mining situation right now for you? What overall do you have?
So right now, as far as equipment goes, I've got an Octominer X12 Ultra with 123070s in it. Right now I have it on Ironfish. I had everything on Dynex, but then I went on a trip and I knew I'd be out of town when Dynex changed its setup back to, I guess you get less hash rate on the Dynex algorithm. They had to change some things around with their algorithm. So I knew that was going to happen. So I had to kind of change everything back to Ironfish because I had nice stable overclocks on all my rigs on Ironfish, and I didn't want something to happen while I was gone. So right now I'm mining. I only got one of my rigs on Dynex because I haven't had time to like redo my overclocks and make sure everything's running smoothly. So right now I've got 5 6800s on Dynex on one of my rigs, open air rig, and then I've got the X12 Octominer with their 123070s running Ironfish. I have a 6-card 3070 rig that's just off right now that I'm going to work on today, getting back on Dynex again. Then I have helium miners. Actually, I kind of forgot to tell you about that. Helium, I aped into that one too during the last bull run because it seemed exciting, and I was like, wow, this doesn't pull any watts, and I thought it was cool. I thought it was a cool project. I loved watching the Hex. I don't know if you've done helium at all, but it's kind of fun. I'm like, oh man, this antenna's hitting stuff way out there. Like I mess with so many different antennas on helium just for fun, but also it was profitable. Now, unfortunately, I hodled the helium in the IoT tokens. They're not worth a whole lot right now, but it was fun. I've got FPGAs right now on Ironfish. I got 6 TH53s on Ironfish right now. That rig build that. Oh yeah, we did a little experiment, you and I.
Yeah, we did.
We were trying to figure out how to get 2 different algorithms on one rig, kind of almost like a dual mining setup. That was fun. So they're all on Ironfish. All my FPGAs are on Ironfish right now. And then I do have 2 KS0s, IceRiver KS0s on Kaspa. And then I have 2 IceRiver KS1s on Kaspa. And then I do have a KS3L for Kaspa on the way. It should arrive in the next week or so, but I have to kind of rearrange some things, get my power set up appropriately so I can run both KS1s and the KS3L. So that's another job I got to do today is rewire some stuff so I can make sure that I've got good power for all those heavy,
so
ASICs.
What is the ROI like for the KS0s? Have you already ROI'd yet?
Yeah, so I've already ROI'd on my KS0s and my KS1. My first KS1, I ROI'd a while ago, even including the import duties. There's like 25% import duties. So right now, I think if I look at my Tangent wallet, I think it's about $24,000 worth of Kaspa in there. So the ROI would have been, including import duties and shipping and all that, it would have been $20,000 to ROI in that first KS1.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to have it all work out, honestly.
I know it's been kind of like a perfect storm for Kaspa, hasn't it? With all these IceRivers.
It sure has. It's just working out. I've had a lot of other projects that haven't worked out quite as well, obviously. So I'm pretty excited. Things are working out well for Kaspa right now. I took the risk and got the IceRivers, and it's working out good. They've been pretty good company so far.
Right. So how much did you pay for the KS3L?
KS3L right now is like $20,000 grand.
Because I got it up here. Let's have a look.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I paid right there.
Okay.
I think it was actually like 21. The prices are dropping every batch, and yeah, 19.99. Yeah, so I paid a little bit, just slightly more than that for mine because my batch is the August 1st through August 10th batch, and I think that batch, if I remember correctly, is like mid to late August, and it could be as late as early September that those arrive now. So they have to kind of drop that price because I think the last time I checked, the network difficulty on Kaspa was like over 4 petahash.
Yeah,
so
let me bring it up here. Let's see what we can. Yeah, 4.28.
Yeah,
a lot.
It's going up. Yeah, and they haven't even shipped all those KS3Ls yet. So that's just the tip of the iceberg.
So do you think that you'll be able to ROI on this KS3L?
I feel like
obviously like down the line, but as quick as the KS0s.
I don't know if I'll be able to ROI as quick as especially my first batch KS0s and KS1s because everyone was afraid to order from IceRiver. I put my pre-order in like as soon as it went live in April. I was like, I'm going to take the risk. If it works out well, I'll come out way ahead. And I think that when I was mining on my KS1 and KS0s, like the network hash rate, I think it was in the like low to mid ones. And sometimes, like I think when they were flipping rigs off, it would hit down to like 700 or 800 again, if I remember correctly. So I think, I don't know, I was kind of like, almost felt like guilty how well it was pulling in the Kaspa at that point. But it's all changing now. So I really don't know for sure. I'm guessing at least like a month or two ROI. I'm keeping up with some people in my Discord that kind of have information from manufacturers over there that are saying that maybe the KS3s aren't quite ready yet, like the actual KS3s from IceRiver. I'm not sure when those ones will ship out. That may, I think, have a big window of August to September for theirs. So if I get this KS3L this week and the network difficulties in the 4s and 5s, I have a feeling I won't ROI as quick as the KS1, the first one I had, but I mean, a couple month ROI, 3-month ROI, I'd be fine with that. And that's better than anything I've ever done, you know?
Yeah.
Even if it's 6 months ROI, better than anything I've ever done. I probably haven't even ROI'd on my GPU rigs.
The GPU honestly. ROI was like, I guess the standard was around 8 months on Ethereum. Mm-hmm. So anything below that you're doing pretty well. Right. And obviously Kaspa's like prices like super high right now, so
definitely,
the ROI might be way quicker.
That's true. You're right about that. It seems to be pumping pretty nicely right now.
So what are your plans for expanding in the future in terms of mining?
So like in the short term, I'm just trying to optimize the setup that I have right now. I'm a little limited in what I can do as far as power goes and like heat, like controlling the heat. Yeah. I'm in Florida and it's hot, really hot right now in the summertime, 90 degrees. So I want to just optimize my setup for now. I don't want to like really sell anything off. I might get more FPGAs so I can be more efficient. And I've been buying ASICs more to try and obviously be more efficient with like Kaspa. And I didn't have a choice with Kaspa. I would have kept buying on GPUs if it wasn't for the ASICs in the network. Yeah. But for now I want to optimize efficiency and try to just kind of max out my current setup. And then in the future, I'm in more of like a townhouse condo kind of setup. So I don't have land where I can put a shed or a barn, but eventually I would love to have something like a dedicated, very large shed or like a very small barn that is just strictly dedicated to crypto. So I can kind of get good airflow, have a nice power setup ran out there. Like have a beautiful setup, like Hobbyist Miner or one of those guys that has like a nice crypto shed out there.
I mean, you're all lucky because obviously you're in the US, so you've got those kind of electricity prices. But I think mining in like at least Europe is pretty much over.
Yeah, I'm very sad to hear that because it's a hobby that I wouldn't want to give up if I didn't have to, and it's really hard when your electricity rate's that high.
Yeah, I've been thinking about moving somewhere that has lower, but there's not really anything feasible apart from maybe even Canada or the US.
Yeah, Rabbit Mining and Red Panda. They got the good electricity rates up there. It
Yeah.
sounds like. Maybe would you ever consider hosting your gear? Are you able to
Yeah, so that's
do
what I
that?
did after the Ethereum merge. I sent a couple of rigs out, but then it just, the profitability just wasn't there, so I ended up just letting them buy them off me.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So they gave me a good price, so I was like, yeah, fine.
yeah. That's good. I mean, sometimes you just have to kind of cut the losses and try to come up with a different plan. That's sometimes
Yeah,
that's
and
the
it's
way it
hard to
goes.
to let go of like your miners,
It
because you
is.
feel like if it goes off in like 6 months, you'll regret selling them.
Yep. It's almost like reverse FOMO. You're
Yeah,
like, oh no, I sold off all my stuff, and now that
exactly.
coin is pumping that I was mining, and I could have made this much. It's tough, man.
Yeah. So that's just the plan in the future, is it just have some sort of farm, a small shed, basically.
That, yeah, I'd like to get right now, like I said, I'm in a townhouse, but I'm wanting to get like a property or at least like I said, kind of like a large shed with power ran to it, and just kind of have a dedicated area for these miners that isn't like so limited. I'm limited what I can do. I can't modify too much because it's a townhouse. It's not like my own house and land where
Right.
I can do whatever I want.
Now, in the future, do you see mining or like both mining and YouTube being part of your main source of income?
I'm leery about anything like that because I would love that. I would definitely love that, but I've gone through pretty rough times like my in 2007 2008 when the economy went really bad. I watched a lot of friends and family that had really good tech jobs that were paying very well, or jobs in general that were paying very well, but they weren't I guess the word I'm looking for is like they kind of could be done away with, if you know what I mean. And
Right.
I got into the medical field because I knew I would have steady income. I can't be really replaced by someone else or a machine, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So I I would love to have YouTube and crypto be a primary source of income, but I know what can happen when markets go bad. All it takes is for like a real bad black swan event
Yeah.
to take out these kind of we're experiencing it pretty bad right now with the bear market. But I think I'll always probably have my primary source of income be a steady job in the medical field, but I would love to have it be, maybe I could do it like part time or just hold on to it, make sure I don't let like licenses lapse and things like that. But
Yeah.
I could definitely, I would love for my hobby to be my job. I think that's probably everybody's goal. Like then you don't work a day in your life. So I could just
Yeah.
do this every day. You're just having fun and interacting with people like you that are interesting and into the same things. I would love that.
Yeah, so I thought about this a lot because I was making a lot of money in when Ethereum was like just going up. So I started mining maybe 2019 for Ethereum, so right before the bull run, and then I just had this like kind of realization that maybe this could be my main source of income, and then obviously it goes down, and you're like, maybe I should not be so optimistic about it.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster ride sometimes. But yeah, it's like I'd love it to be like a very large like part of my income, and I just always want to have that backup because, like I said, I've seen too many people get burned. Kind of my grandpa, he named his boat Irrational Exuberance because he was very smart with markets,
Yeah.
and he was a hardworking guy, but there was irrational exuberance during the .com bubble, and there's been multiple times in history where people think that the gravy train's just going to keep rolling
Yeah.
always, and it's been proven time and time again that that's not true. So I try to keep that in mind. My grandpa was a smart guy with his money, and I try to kind of follow his lead a little bit.
Right. Yeah, okay. So what is the plan for the future of YouTube now?
You know, I never thought I would even have this many people following me. Honestly, I started off just trying it out and seeing how it goes, and it's worked out really good. So I want to keep going with it. I'm gonna do my best to try and improve like my content and just keep up with what's going on. Right now, it seems like everyone's super interested in Kaspa, which works out well for me because that's what I've been really interested in. And I want to just kind of keep going with it. Eventually, I want to branch out into more coins, but it seems like when I do other videos, they don't get as many views. And I don't necessarily care as much about just getting pure views and hours watched. I just want to have fun with it. This was just kind of started for fun, and like I said, my wife encouraged me to go for it. So so far it has been fun. I'm not sure if you and I'd be having this conversation right now if we both are content creators in crypto. I love being able to talk with you and other guys that are into it. When I have conversations with people outside of YouTube and Twitter and Discord and all that, they just glaze over when I talk to them about this stuff. Like they don't get it, and it's nice to talk to people that do. And I also want to help people out. I've been watching you guys for years, and I've learned so much. And if there's any way I can help teaching others, I love it. I love when I hear people say that they watched something that I did and they learned something that helped them. So yeah, I would really like to continue. I'm going to kind of continue to aggressively pursue information and put it out there in a timely manner and try to help other people out. And just hopefully my channel just kind of keeps growing.
I mean, it's doing really well so far. Seeming, how long it's been, because normally it takes around, I'd say, a year to get 1,000 subscribers on average. So you're nearly there. I mean, and it's
Thanks,
been,
man.
how long did you start? Did you say May?
I started in May.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was just timely with me taking the risk on the ice rivers. Everyone kind of is interested in Kaspa. I've made quick friends with some people in the community. Red Panda Mining has been very, very helpful to me. He's kind of put my banner up in his garage and everything like that, and that was really nice. And then you shouted out and helped point my channel out. I think when I had maybe 300 subscribers. So I really appreciate you putting my videos on your videos. It's really nice. That's why I like this community. Everyone seems very welcoming and helpful, and we all just kind of want the best for each other. It seems like.
So I feel like it's not like any other communities, even in the crypto space in general, they don't have that kind of everyone helps out each other.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a weird space, not weird in a bad way, but just enigma.
Yeah, it's definitely unique. I didn't expect it to be this way. I kind of thought maybe I'd try to put my videos out there and be on Twitter, and then maybe people would be cutthroat or give you a hard time if you got something wrong. Everyone's just helpful. They're like, hey, this is, if you mess something up or if you say something wrong, people are so far been pretty good about helping you and guiding, and that's what I want to do for other people if I can too.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of other spaces are kind of cutthroat, but this one is very nice community.
Definitely, yeah.
So, do you have any sell targets for any of your coins, or are you just going to hold them forever?
So it's hard because the coins that I'm into haven't really hit a bull run, and they're newer tech. Kaspa's newer tech that hasn't hit a bull run. Dynex is newer tech, hasn't hit a bull run. In my mind, for some reason, not financial advice, of course, I'm picturing Kaspa hitting $1 in the next bull run. In my mind, I just see it getting that kind of momentum. It's a nice, clean project. I just kind of in my mind, that's where I see it going.
Right.
But obviously, we don't know for sure. But I just feel like it's such a good project that it's going to keep going up eventually. So my target, I guess, for Kaspa would probably be $1 in my mind. I just got that locked into my brain, but I'll probably DCA out or start DCAing returns. And obviously you have to watch the macro and the market and everything, but maybe after the Bitcoin halving, a year after the Bitcoin halving is kind of what I'm thinking. I'll start DCAing out so I don't FOMO and sell and then or reverse FOMO.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Everyone's thinking that obviously, if you've been in this space for a while, you kind of see how the market cycle works, and after a halving, you got to, maybe a year or so before. It's mainly when Bitcoin miners jump off the network because of the halving, they're not profitable anymore. And then over time, the price of the coin goes up, mainly Bitcoin, and then everything else follows that. So you kind of want to wait until these miners jump back onto the network. And that's when, I can't really tell which happens first in terms of miners jumping on the network or people, pumping Bitcoin a bit more. But it was a perfect storm in, I believe, 2021, just because the amount of cash that the US government was giving to people, and a lot of it flowed into cryptocurrency.
Yeah, that's something that I was like wondering about too. Like, is the next bull run going to be maybe slightly disappointing? And just because all that cash that was pumped in, be nearly as much liquidity in the market. But I guess time will tell.
Yeah, I suppose so. So, do you have any opinions on these smaller coins? Like, would you ever be mining like Kyler coin, Octa, or any of these? Have you mined a lithium yet?
I haven't mined lithium, but I would consider it because I believe it's Blake 3, correct? Lithium is Blake 3, like Ironfish. I would consider mining lithium. I was looking at mining Radiant. I might try to switch my FPGAs over to Radiant. That project seems, it's kind of like similar to, I guess everyone seems to be trying to do like layer ones that are faster. I need to research it more. I was listening to some interviews, and it sounds like a good project. That's another one that I would consider hopping on and mining, especially with the FPGAs. I just have to, the rig setup will be very different for the FPGAs on Radiant. I have to do a motherboard apparently with my TH53s instead of like a dev board. So I just haven't had time to do it yet. But yeah, I would definitely consider mining Radiant, especially with the FPGAs. I like my GPUs on Dynex. They run efficiently, and I like that project. I think it's very interesting. Not just because it's pumping it. It seems like it pumps with Kaspa.
Yeah, I was thinking that as
chart.
well.
Yeah, that's a nice chart.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? So I think I don't know when I made my first video on it, but it might have been before in 2022, maybe. Yeah, somewhere around there. So the price of it has just skyrocketed since then.
Yeah, I've been watching your videos on Dynex. I saw some of those emails back and forth with the team that you had.
Yeah, there's still some questions around, obviously, that proof of use will work. But there was a video that I saw, I think it was from Yeti Crypto, and it was going over like the tech behind it and kind of proving how to use it. But for somebody that's not exactly like technically aware of what they're talking about, I didn't really understand it too much.
Yeah, it is confusing. Yeti's great. Deep miners, they've got their own pool. That's the pool I use actually. It's Yeti's pool, Deep Miners pool, it's called.
Right.
And yeah, when I've watched some of the videos, and I found it very interesting how they were trying to use it to optimize support beams. I believe it was in a video, and they were able to solve something that would have took much longer for human architects to kind of like optimize. You probably saw that video too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's this one here. Let me see.
It's so interesting. And I wish I could understand the tech more also, as far as like the neuromorphic computing and, the chips, they kind of like virtual chips that they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't really understand that too much. Like I say that in my videos a lot. I'm like, I don't understand how it does it. But
yeah, it's beyond my depth of knowledge, but I'm just going to keep looking into it and try to make sure I understand it better. But I just like the project overall. Like it's interesting to me, especially the proof of use will work, and AI.
Yeah,
is going to be. I think it's going to be a major player in the next bull run. So any coins that kind of can show that they're helping with that kind of tech, I think they're going to do well.
So are there any plans to mine proof of use will work on Flux when it comes out?
Flux, I haven't really dug deep enough into, and I know that they're trying to get their the Octominers set up to be more friendly for someone that hasn't built a rig like this before. But it sounds like their proof of use will work. It's going to be great, but it's going to be more complicated for someone to set up a rig on. that doesn't have deep knowledge of, building computers, and
Yeah.
it's almost like setting up a server. It sounds like to some extent, and I don't have that deep of knowledge on it. Not that I couldn't. I would work hard towards learning. I love learning anyway, but I just haven't had the time to dig deep enough into Flux and what is going to be required for proof of useful work. I don't even think they've released. I was watching some of the stuff at Mining Disrupt. I don't think they've released their benchmarks yet. So even the guys that know what they're doing haven't been able to set anything up quite yet because their benchmarks haven't been publicly released yet.
So what channels are you mainly watching to get information?
Well, I do watch yours a lot. I like your breakdowns on everything.
Right.
I watch Red Panda. I watch Rabid Mining. I watch Son of a Tech a lot. Let's see. For overclocks, I don't know if you ever heard of Kiwi Crypto. He hasn't put any videos out in a while, but I like watching his overclock videos.
No, I haven't watched him.
He's pretty good for overclocks on different NVIDIA and AMD cards.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like Son of a Tech, Rabid, Red Panda, you, of course.
Just the standard ones, yeah.
Yeah, pretty standard ones.
I was just seeing if there was any other kind of YouTubers that I hadn't seen or explored yet.
I would say Kiwi Crypto is one that maybe not a lot of people know about that has really good overclocks on different cards. He goes through spreadsheets and he adjusts everything kind of like he hones it in perfectly for efficiency, and I like his videos.
Right. Okay. So lastly, what is your most viewed video? Sorry if I'm like prying into this, but
oh, no, I don't mind at all.
Here it is. So IceRiver KS video. What did you feel like when you had that amount of views? Because obviously, like as a YouTuber, you're small and you think, this is not going to get views, but then, it starts to pick up. What do you feel like after having that amount of views?
I actually didn't even realize how many people had watched that.
That's a lot of views, that is.
I didn't even know it was that many. I haven't really been, I didn't look back. That's pretty awesome. That video was like impromptu. I hadn't set one of these up before. No one had them in their hands at that point. And I was so tired that day too. I worked, I think if I remember correctly, I worked all day that day and it arrived, and there was no way I wasn't going to try to set it up. So it's funny because it's not my best work, I would say, that video. And so many people have watched it, and like, I think I even hooked up the, I hooked up a USB to it because I thought maybe I'd have to update firmware, and it wasn't even necessary. Right. But it's too late for me to clip it out of the video. So it was such a raw video that I just threw together real fast because I was so excited.
Sometimes they do the best.
I guess so. Maybe that people could like truly feel the excitement. I didn't even know it had that many views, honestly. And I was almost going to redo that video. I was going to redo like an ultimate setup guide on the KS0. But then I was like, there's a lot of these are already out there. I'm not sure if it's valuable to anybody to see me do another KS0 setup video. I was working hard on actually doing that. But then they updated the firmware and changed the way the fans are. And I was like, maybe it's better just to keep doing smaller, shorter videos to update people rather than do a whole nother setup video. Maybe I'll just let that one be that raw video that somehow people like and seem to still be watching, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it's got good retention on it, I suppose. So is there anything that you like, any milestone in YouTube that you really want to hit from here?
I mean, I guess I never really truly had a goal. I was just starting it out just to see where it would go. I guess like 1,000 subscribers would be great. I'd be happy. I'm happy where I'm at right now. Honestly, I really didn't think I would get this much traction this fast. And I've got growing pains. You could probably see from some of my other videos. I had like the ratios improperly set on I had like an old GoPro I was shooting with, like a 2014 GoPro. So you'll see growing pains in my videos, but maybe that's good because maybe people see I'm real. I'm just a regular guy, and I just started this just for fun, and it's going somewhere. And I don't really have a goal, but 1,000 would be great. I'd love to have 1,000 subscribers. But I'm very happy and thankful for where I'm at right now.
I mean, it will start to take off because I feel like it's an exponential thing. When you're getting subscribers, like I was only getting 50 maybe a month, and now I'm getting like 200 a month, which is extremely like more. I guess.
That's awesome, man.
But
you deserve it. Your videos are great.
It's a good feeling. And then when you hit that 1,000 and you get that monetization, even though it's like $10 or something, it's still good.
I'll take $10 from YouTube. Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah,
appreciate the cash. That's awesome, man. I remember when you had, I think you had hit 2,000 subscribers, and now you're up to, is it like 2,270, I believe? And it seemed like that happened pretty quick. Maybe it's because things are starting to turn around, too. Maybe, yeah.
I mean, for Kaspa, that was like, everyone was just, because I've got so much Kaspa content, and as it's taken off, people want to research, so they just, I'm out there, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. You're, like you said, it's kind of like ramping up. I think everything seems to be ramping up a little bit.
Anyway, that was it for the interview. Unless there's any other questions you want to ask.
Do you have any tips for me, buddy? that would be the question that I have for you.
Tips for you in terms of what?
Yeah. I guess for YouTube.
Just consistency. Do you what are you doing with tags, or are you putting any tags in your videos?
So I just started doing that, actually. I started looking up YouTube videos on like the SEO, the search engine optimization, and it just blew my mind. It was a whole different world that I didn't even know about. And I just started doing some of that about a week ago, where I tried to start putting in words that made more sense towards the top of my description. Yeah. That went with the title, and I was just trying to follow their suggestions, like the tags, like you said. I never tagged anything in my video. Didn't put one tag in until maybe a week ago. Okay. So yeah, thank you for the tip on the tags too.
Are you actively going back through your videos and adding tags in through there or not?
I've been working on it. Yeah.
Right.
I've been trying to, maybe once a day go in there and start blasting through and changing the descriptions. I have my link to my Twitter page at the very first sentence of all of my videos. And I was like, oh, yes, that's not a good idea. I didn't realize, had no idea. So I started trying to put the description more like towards what the title was, especially the first, I guess they say 25 characters or something like that. So yeah, I've been going back through trying to adjust the descriptions in the video and start adding tags. And I mean, I did a video that I really liked. It was Ironfish versus Ergo versus Kaspa versus Dynex. Right. And it has like 145 views, and it took me like all day to make. And I really liked that video, but it's got no traction at all. So
yeah, sometimes you dump a load of time into it and it just fails.
Yeah, it was an epic fail.
I've had many videos like that.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I guess you just got to keep putting stuff out there and just see what sticks, I guess.
Yeah, and listening to your audience, obviously you've got your Discord, which I'll link in the description of the video, but they'll be like giving you tips on what they want to see. Just listening to them is good as well.
That's true. I've gotten some people that have requested videos, and I've got to try to make some time to get those videos done, because they're good suggestions. Like, I want to try and get one of my KS3Ls on Hive OS. I guess that's something new that it's just starting to, I think it's like beta testing or something like that. So that's one of the videos I was going to try to work on, but I just run out of time faster than I'd like. There's not enough time for all the videos I want to make.
Do you have access to the community tab? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I do, and I haven't done anything with it yet. I haven't done playlists. I haven't. I saw your channels. I liked your channels section on your video. I need to work on all of that.
Let me see what you're talking about. Oh right, yeah.
Just like how you had other creators in there. Like I would like to start doing things like that, putting other content creators in there, and I don't have any playlists set up at all, so I definitely need to work on that.
I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. It's just I feel like if I'm using the community tab, I get a lot more pulse on what my channel members or subscribers are thinking, if that makes sense.
Right.
So you just ask random questions on there, and most of the time they'll reply with something. I'll give you an example here. Some people, are you selling Kaspa at your all-time high? And then, you can just see the comments here and just, give you a little feedback.
I did vote in that, and I said, no, never. I did vote in that one.
But yeah, so
I voted in a lot of yours, actually.
Well, that's a good one as well. Do you see yourself mining Verus coin in the future?
I've been watching Retro Mike. Oh, that's another YouTuber.
I've seen a lot of Verus videos lately.
Yeah, yeah, he's got tons of good phone mining videos. I'm worried about spreading myself too thin, trying to pursue too many things. And I've been watching those videos because I'm like, that is cool, man. Like, I know a lot of those guys got deals on like Samsung AO3 or something like that on Prime Day.
Right.
And then they just started blasting out content on phone mining Verus, and it sounds like it's super efficient. And maybe that's something that would be good for countries like yours where the ore is just not reasonable, and maybe that's a profitable way to get back into mining, you know. So I would consider it. It's just I'm gonna spread myself too thin if I pursue too many things.
Strangely enough, I was speaking to some creators that were making Verus coin videos, and they said that their highest demographic or whatever is people in India, which is you know, I don't know whether they can't get GPUs or something like that, or maybe just phones are relatively available there.
Right, yeah, maybe it's cheaper to get some of these. I've heard of people even getting old phones, like used older phones that do really well on Verus coins. So maybe there's a major used phone market out there, and like you said, maybe it's prohibitive with the cost of GPUs or power. I'm not sure what their power rates are in India either, but
yeah, I don't know how it actually works. I've seen I don't think you can do it on iPhones, can you?
I don't think so. I think everyone's getting these Samsung phones, especially like the AO3. I bet you any money they're going to start selling all these phones. People are probably wondering why is somebody ordering 5 to 10 to 20 Samsung phones, and they're like lower level Samsung phones.
But they have the same like CPU capacity as higher level ones. Is that why they're buying them so low?
I think so, but you know what? I'm gonna have to defer to Retro Mike or one of those guys on that one. I haven't dug deep enough into it to know why these phones are so good, but that seems to be the model. If I remember correctly, Samsung AO3, I want to say it is, seems to be the one that everyone's trying to get a hold of now. So I don't remember the reasons why, but I know that one's working out pretty well for a lot of people.
Yeah, I was thinking of making a video on it soon.
Yeah, I think it's the battery too. I think that some of the phones that have different type of battery, they get really hot, and I've heard they like tend to expand when they're trying to run that hard all the time. So I think the battery in the AO3s are good too for it. And
you have to have it constantly plugged in, right?
Yeah, you have to have it constantly plugged in. I think they usually set it up where you can shut the phone screen off to save power, so the screen's not always on, if I remember correctly. But yeah, the phone has to just be plugged in constantly. And I think some guys are setting up like coolings, like fans, and like I want to say I thought I saw somebody put one in like a server rack at some point with the fans running.
I suppose. If it works, it works.
It works, yeah, exactly. If it works, it works. It's getting serious. These phone miners are getting serious with this stuff now.
I don't know how long that coin's been around, but I used to think that phone mining was definitely a scam. Probably like 2 years ago, I didn't think it would be possible.
Yeah, I didn't think so either, but now it's definitely out there. I've even seen videos, I think it was a long time ago, somebody was like mining with their Tesla because they had it plugged in, and I want to say they had something set up where they were mining with their Tesla, and I can't remember the details of it. It blows my mind how resourceful people are. Maybe that's all they could do at the time, and they just figure out what gear they've got laying around. And they're like, I could probably try to figure out how to mine something on this. Way beyond my skill set to try and dig that deep into like computers and software and figure out if it's something could be mined on it. But
I suppose
pretty crazy.
Could mine with anything that's got a CPU in it.
That's true, yeah. That's true.
It would have to be something around the hardware, just like taking off the OS and then rebooting it with a different OS.
Right, yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's interesting. People find a way, you know?
Yeah, they always do.